So this question is about jig fishing. Other than using a heavier jig, what suggestions do you have to help me detect strikes while jig fishing? Well, honestly, I wouldn't use a heavier jig to begin with, because the lighter the jig you can get away with, the more strikes you're going to get, because most of the bites occur on the fall. So the slower it's falling, the more it's in that strike zone, the more apt it is to get bit. So to detect those strikes, there's really two main things that I do. One of them is, as it's falling, I pay super close attention to the line. Whether I'm using braid or fluorocarbon, I really focus on where that line is entering the water and pay close attention. If it jumps, twitches, moves to one side, or maybe even accelerates faster as it's falling, that's usually something on the other line, on the other end of the line, messing with it, usually a bass. So that can, just visually seeing that change can help you detect strikes. I also do a countdown method, by the way. If I'm throwing a jig and I count 1, 2, 3, okay, it hit the bottom. And I can make another cast, 1, 2, 3, almost 4, and it hits the bottom. Okay, so I got an idea. Between 3 and 4 count hits the bottom. And I make a cast, 1, 2. Okay, well, sometimes bass come up and grab it and just hold on to it. And so when it just suddenly stops for no reason, set the hook. That might be a bass. So again, really paying close attention to that jig while it's falling. The other thing I do is, once that jig is on the bottom, I like to hold the rod tip up at an angle above the 9 o'clock position, so I have a better connection between the rod and the line and the jig that's down there. That helps me feel any kind of movement, a slight subtle putt pickup, a light strike. With the line being tight like that, it'll transmit that down the line onto the rod and down into my hands, and I have a better feel, so I can feel those bites that I may not see on a tight line. So with those two things combined, I think you're going to catch a lot more fish. Hope that helps. And if you have any questions that you've thought about while watching this, hey, feel free to hit me up at this email down below, or come to our Facebook page and leave us a message, and hopefully we'll get to your question soon. For more tips and tricks like this, visit bassresource.com.